Welcome to Screen Talk, the podcast about movies, TV, and anything else you can find on your screen. I'm your host, Sam, along with my co-host, Blue. Blue, how you doing today?
I'm good. It's hard to tell us apart anymore because we have matching hairstyles now. So
I know.
we've reached a new level of closeness.
This is Sam talking for those watching the video feed right now, just so you're aware.
Goofy.
I know there are similarities. But yes, for those on the audio podcast, my hair is even bluer now. It's an infestation that I can't get away from. It's like crabs, and yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, maybe it could be like your friend's influence. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe not like.
I chose my words correctly.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna remember that and put a pin in that for later.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna leave that there.
Blue, how have you been doing lately? Been a minute since we did one of these.
I'm very excited. I have been wanting you to watch this movie for a minute, so we're getting into some ideas of guys, all this podcast listeners, listen, we have a million episodes planned. I went on a brainstorming session one day and came up with like 30 ideas, and I'm excited for all of them.
Truly impressive. Like six episodes, within 6 minutes, you had 17 episodes planned.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's my autism superpower. So I was very excited to get to some of these. This was one that was on our list for a while to do underrated movies. Maybe you could even call it like cult classics in a way. And there was this movie specifically that I was so surprised that you hadn't seen. And I'm just ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm not going to even go cult classics because I feel like one of these movies nobody knows about, and one of these movies was a hit, and yet every single person that I've talked, the one you picked, every single person that I've met that even people in like the podcasting movie community, I had people message me and be like, "What the fuck is this movie you're talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it made $100 million and nobody remembers it. Like it doesn't exist."
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible that they got that big of a cast and they did make money. I mean, they made some money on it and just completely left the cultural zeitgeist for some reason. So I had to bring it to you for that reason.
Yeah, so let's just jump into it. Fuck it. So the one we're talking about first is Blue's pick. Blue, you chose the classic movie everybody remembers. It's on the tip of everybody's tongue. 2007, great year, great people graduated high school that year. Stardust, 2007.
I think I was 10 at the time or something like that. You're doing the math.
That math adds up.
Yes, I love Stardust. I actually watched this on a whim originally. I didn't watch this as a kid. I watched this actually because a friend of mine, similar to how we did our character quizzes, we had done one that was similar, and they had actually gotten the main character. They had gotten Claire Danes that they were very similar with. And I was like, oh, like, that's cool. Like, let's see. I love Claire Danes. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, anything she's in, I'll see. I think she's just chef's kiss, so beautiful, and I love her as an actress. I love her so much. So I had to watch it, and I just fell in love. I had never heard of it before. The person that I took the quiz with had never heard of it before, and so it was just like a really exciting little hidden gem to discover pretty organically.
Yeah, I would say that makes a lot of sense. I like Claire Danes, but I'll be honest, like when I was like trying to be like, this is the person I was referring to. It's a friend of mine from a podcast that's very friendly to us. I share our stuff. So Under the Floorboards podcast, they were like, Claire Danes is my number one all-time crush. They're like, how have I never heard of this movie? And I'm like, don't you feel fucking bad, because nobody has. Like, but I also was like, I'm like, why do I like Claire Danes? And I went through their filmography, and I was like, the only one on the tip of my tongue was Romeo and Juliet, which I do truly love.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what else have they been in? And I don't know. Like nothing else in their like filmography is one that I was like, yeah, that's the one. I think I just really liked her as Juliet. That's truly it.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet was really good. Obviously now we have this movie to include in that as well, but I actually really liked the show Homeland. Okay. But I was really excited when I saw her in this, and I just think she's perfect for the role too. I think her role as this main girl is something about Claire Danes in a romantic movie. Something hits.
Yeah, like, and I was like, oh wow, they really do just like the two movies I know her in. She plays like an almost, I mean, not that Juliet is angelic, but she's not angelic. Like, you
Mhm.
know, like this in they envision her as like pristine and pure. And I was like, okay, well, clearly she's a little typecast, but all across the board, this is really, really well cast.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Claire Danes as Yane. I don't know how to Vane. I could not. If I felt like they could not commit on how to say her name, and people said it differently every time.
The Star.
The star. Charlie Cox as Tristan, Michelle Pfeiffer, Mark Strong, who is like the villain in like everything, but probably most well known as the villain, I think, now in Ant-Man, if I'm correct. I even knew like Jason Fleming, like all the princes are pretty famous.
Mhm.
And then of course we've got my favorite, who we'll get to eventually. But yeah.
I knew they were gonna be your favorite too. I was so excited for you to watch it just on that basis alone. I was like, yeah, I already know who you're gonna like.
Yeah, we'll get to him in the plot there, but Robert De Niro's in this movie, which if you're thinking like, okay, by the way, we haven't explained what this movie is. It's a fantasy movie. This is a fantasy romance. I don't want to say teeny bopper, but it's probably that's probably the sweet spot for the audience, was probably like 13 to 20-year-olds, I think. Would that be fair to say?
Dare I say it's for everyone?
I mean,
Dare I say everyone should see it of any age range? Dare I say?
well, I watched it now, and I'll, spoiler alert, had a great time, very
Mhm.
fun. It is a. Can you just okay? This is your
Yeah,
movie. I'm gonna have
yeah.
you to give it just an elevator pitch of what this movie is before we really kind of start to dig into it. You explain what this is to the audience.
Well, one of the most interesting things going into it, I think, is that it is and was meant to be a standalone fantasy movie. And incredible, incredible, because that really doesn't happen much in any industry. If there is a standalone fantasy film, it's usually because it failed to launch some type of trilogy or some type of series usually. So there's not many standalone fantasy movies that just can literally stand on their own. We
There's
have
barely any standalone movies, period,
period.
that like at all anymore, because that's what they all go into. Like,
Yes.
the idea is now, yeah, you make a movie so that you can make 17 more. Um,
Exactly.
and
And this was
also,
more pure than that.
and the director of this is a a franchise machine. I don't know if you're aware of who the director of this is.
I don't remember offhand.
So it's Matthew Vaughn. So Matthew Vaughn is sort of the go-to guy if they're like, this is a sort of mid-level success graphic novel, we think that you can make it into a franchise. So he did this with Kick-Ass and that franchise. He's done it with X-Men First Class, did that in Days of Future Past, did all the Kingsman movies. He seems to be the guy that when someone's like, hey, it's a, because I believe this is also based on a graphic novel, not a novel, if I'm correct.
If you are, I want to own it immediately.
I believe it is. But yes, this is a franchise man making this movie. And so it's kind of surprising that they went to him and were like, just one, please. Just one, please. We're good.
Mhm. I maybe if it had made more money, because it wasn't. I want to say it was pretty close to its budget overall, even though it did make some money. So maybe it would have been a stronger case. But honestly, I think it works as just its own standalone, regardless. So I'm happy with however that ended up shaking out.
It is, in
And I'm
fact, a graphic novel, by the way,
oh, I need that.
by Neil Gaiman, who's one of the most famous graphic novelists of all, probably the most famous graphic novelist of all time for
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna go ahead and
listeners.
add that to my cart on Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need that. Another good thing about this is that you're entering a fantasy world. You are starting this story, and there is a very simple prologue. It's not overwhelming. You are not given like I do feel for people when they start like Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
and it's like the prologue is so much information at you at once. This is not that type of movie.
No,
You are
it's
gonna get only the information you need right then.
so simple. I mean, I mean, even for me, one time viewing, I can, there's two villages, or basically there's the the regular world that you and I are associated with, that I would say I don't think they ever give a time frame on it, but you got to assume it's like early 1900s.
Yeah.
And then there's a wall that's about 4 foot tall, and on the other side of that wall is the magic kingdom where all magic exists, and nothing between these worlds is allowed to interact. Boom! That's the premise of the movie.
Mm-hmm. And then the things interact. And
Who would
then
have thought that would have happened?
the plot ensues. But yeah, it's very fun. Immediately, I think if you're someone who really likes movies like The Princess Bride, I think
Yep.
it's very similar in tone and feeling. And it starts off very simple. We get a little bit of a love story. We get a little bit of this energy of we know they're not our main character because like it starts off with the main character's father, right? And kind of
I did not.
explains.
You knew that. I did not know that. When it jumped 40 years, I was like, what? What?
I don't know, when he was like, "Well, I can't kill anybody." I was like, "Okay, well, you're not the main character, babe."
Well, since I knew nothing about this movie, and I believe the actor who plays the main character's dad is actually kind of famous as well. So I was like, okay, he sneaks across the wall, basically just kind of hangs out, doesn't really do anything of note, minus
Yeah, just wants to explore.
he meets a witch, and she's kind of a bitch, but the witchy lady has a slave girl that he hooks up with, and then 9 months later, a baby is delivered to his door. Before we go any further in this, can I say something? I think one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen on screen is in this movie, and at first his mom is fucking hot. And
when Michelle Pfeiffer is right there.
No, I'll throw her in the garbage.
Oh my god, she is a very beautiful woman, though.
I was genuinely like, I'm like, oh wow, these are clearly the main character. Because again, knew nothing about this movie. I was like,
Yeah.
Clearly these are the main characters. I'm like, he's kind of famous. She's unbelievable. I'm like, they're clearly going to be the main characters of the movie. Nope.
Nope.
So
very much no.
Threw me for a loop there. And then I was also a little sad, and I was like, well, I want bring her back. Like
and at least at the end they did, but I'm skipping ahead a little bit there. We get that origin story for our main character. So we see Charlie Cox's origin as Tristan, and we also see at the beginning of the movie he's a bit of a fucking dork. He's a bit of a nerd. He's a bit of a beta, if you will.
Dude. I mean, I know it's a fantasy movie, so we're going like over the top, but like there is a thing like where I'm like in movies when like a character has like no self-dignity or self-worth, and I'm just like, I don't like, I just can't, I don't even know if I can, like, I don't respect you as a character, and I don't root for you if you have nothing. And he lets this woman walk all over him. He lets Superman take a dump on his chest.
Henry Cavill beats his ass.
Yeah, Henry Cavill plays the girl that he likes, which I forget her name, was like
Victoria.
Victoria, yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's played by Sienna Miller, very famous model. But yeah, and like Henry Cavill just kind of kicks his ass a little bit. She openly like mocks him in front of Henry, and then later goes on a weird date with him. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like,
I think she felt bad. She got him fired from his job. So I think it's like a pity thing, which is also terrible.
Which is terrible, because now you're just giving this poor little man hope. And I don't know. It just I at the beginning of this movie, I was like, dude, this guy fucking sucks.
I felt for him. Like, I think you're supposed to have this, I mean, he's in love. He's young. He's naive. He's a boy. He's just a boy. Yeah, and he's trying his best.
You're supposed to feel bad for him. But the problem I have is that the way it's presented, I don't. I'm like, dude.
Stand up.
Fucking move on. Tell this bitch to fuck off. Tell her to take her her champagne and shove it up her ass that she drinks the whole bottle of, might I add.
Yeah, that he spent like all of his money. He just got fired. He spent all of his money to take her on a nice date.
Also, listeners, if you haven't figured out or don't know who we're talking about, the main character, Tristan, in this movie is played by Charlie Cox. It took me about 35 minutes into this movie to realize there's something off-putting about him to me in this movie, and I couldn't figure out why, because he's a perfectly normal-looking man. And then I realized I think I've only ever seen him in the Daredevil show where he just has the cold, blind, dead stare. So to see him acting with his eyeballs and actually have life in them, it is a little strange. I have to admit, after watching that show for like whatever, how many years, it's a little strange.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a different role than I've ever seen him in. I feel like I'm a little bit more familiar, so especially now. I mean, you hear him in Claire Obscure. I hear him in so many things now, and
Yeah, but he plays
I
Robert
love him.
Pattinson in that game.
Okay, that's not anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, a shooting star is falling in the distance. Victoria says, "Go get that for me, and I'll consider like marrying you. If you're willing to do all that for me and cross the wall that no one's supposed to cross ever, you got it, King." And of course, he's all about it. So he's gonna go. He tells her, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get that star for you."
Truly a
And
psychotic thing to say, by the way, to someone.
oh
Bring,
yeah, 100.
bring
percent
me a star.
Yeah, you have to earn my love, by the way,
Yeah. Not
and
the
you have to do some
and
crazy task.
not the first, second, or third person to say that exact sentence in this fucking movie.
hmm hmm
Yes.
Yeah, but it does have a very interesting narrative because you're getting the narrative structure I do find weird about this movie, but I do feel like the pacing is still fantastic for everything that happens. It's almost like Act 2 I feel like has a part 1 and a part 2 almost because we get our introduction, we get Tristan, we get a lot of things happening there. The star is the guiding motivation for our main character Tristan and
For
his
every
little love
character.
story. Yeah, and then we get the witches who want to go after the star for their youth and magical ability, and they got to go get her. And then the princes also are going to go capture that star as well.
Because yes, there's also the fate of the kingdom is being decided. Probably my favorite subplot of the movie is they have the king is dying, and he basically is talking to, I think at the start there's 4, I want to say, sons, and he's like, basically he's laughing because he's like, I killed my brothers to become king. And they reference that the brothers have been trying to kill each other for years, and that 3 of them were already murdered. And then the king tells one of them, like, go look out and tell me what you see out that window. And he looking out, he says, the kingdom, and it's mine. And then one of the brothers shoves him out the window, and everybody goes, ha, 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 ha. Then it's
Yeah.
revealed that all the brothers are being forever tied to one another until the kingdom is settled as ghosts, and they kind of become comedic foils for the rest of the movie, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a very fun, like that could have been a very dark element for a certain like movie to have, and it ended up being very playful and very silly. We still get our main prince bad boy type character, or he's a little darker than the rest. But in general, it's still pretty like even when these people die, they're just like there. You're like, oh, okay, cool. So you're here.
Yeah, and I think I enjoy that because like they are funny, the princes are, and you're watching them more or less to try and kill each other than they are ever really trying to hurt Tristan or any of the main characters. It's not even actually even mentioned that they're going to hurt the star. They just have to bring the star to the king. So in theory, they may not even be technically bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little unorthodox.
Yeah,
But
I mean, now there's also, so okay, the star falls. It's, by the way, we haven't said the star is it's Claire Danes. No explanation as to how that is what it is. It just is what it is. Fucking deal with it. It's a person. Moving on, because that's all that there is no explanation given.
She's a person in a beautiful dress and outfit with the most beautiful shining blonde hair you've ever seen.
And basically, periodically, this happens. Very rare, but it happens. A star falls, and it's always a beautiful girl. It's what it seems like. And so Tristan's after it because if he gets it and brings it back to Victoria, she'll marry him. No, she won't. She's a liar.
Yeah.
The
Plus, I
brother,
love the scene where she's like, "Yeah, nothing says romance than a
yeah,
kidnapped woman."
yeah,
Like,
you got it there. The brothers are after it because whoever brings it to the father or whatever will be the king, and then the witches, which are led by Michelle Pfeiffer, are after it because they can like basically cut out the witches or the star's heart and use it to elongate their lives.
yeah, they're ugly, old, decrepit women who want to kill this beautiful young woman for her youth and her magic.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to see it.
Yeah.
But that's the setup for the overall plot. Then we get this this sort of mingling of all of their plots. First, we get introduced though to your favorite character. They end up in a little scenario. The Tristan, the star, they use that Babylon candle. They think of home. They're both
You have to express. Okay, no one's heard of this movie.
everyone's heard of it.
You
Everyone knows what
cannot
the
say the
candle is.
phrase Babylon candle
Yeah, you
as
can,
if
or it's like bubbling candle or something like that.
no.
Anyway,
You said it
I think it
right,
is.
but
But yeah, yeah, it's a magical candle and it could transport you everywhere. And like his mom gave it to him in the beginning, like as a baby, and was like, "Use this to find me one day." And of course he doesn't because he is dumb.
it's a candle. If you hold it and you light it wherever you think of, it will take you to.
Yeah, so the idea is his mom gave him that to be like, "Think of me," and I like save me from. By the way, I've been like in a slave for decades now at this point. So
And it's how he gets to the star before anyone else does, because even though he gets the candle and is supposed to be thinking of his mother to go ostensibly save her, because she is still a slave, he is a pussy and he thinks of only the girl who won't ever love him. So
Mhm.
he thinks of the star on accident and is immediately transported to the star where he enslaves her.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to get home. She's thinking of her home. He's thinking of his home. They end up halfway in between. And so now they are in the clouds.
Yes. Yes. So they're in the clouds, and that's where we meet the sky pirates,
Hmm.
who's they're not really pirates, which is well, there's some muddying on the details here. They're definitely pirate-like. They all
Hmm.
go arg, and it's a ship in the sky that floats around.
Hmm.
Yet they're not stealing anything. They're just harvesting lightning, which they sell on the black market. I think as a weapon is what it seems like. Could be energy source, but it seems like a weapon because they use it as a cannon later multiple times.
Yeah.
But this is led by Mr. Robert De Niro, who at the beginning of this scene, everybody in this movie is speaking like, some fairy tale version of old English that just, whatever. And then you've got Robert De Niro, who's straight out of Goodfellas. And I was like, oh no, this is horrible casting. Like it's terrible. Like he might as well be like fucking burying, like Jimmy Hoffa in the fucking cornfield. It's not good. But then there's a reveal. He fakes killing Tristan and throws him, quote unquote, overboard. At which point he then takes Claire Danes into his chambers where he kind of makes it seems like he's going to grape
Gonna
her.
assault her. Yeah.
Yeah. At which point he reveals that it was all a big trick. His demeanor, I can only say, turns fey, we'll say. Fey, if you get it. And it is revealed that he is in fact not a bad guy. He's just a very effeminate gay man
Hmm.
who loves nothing more than wearing dresses
Hmm.
and
Loves
playing
drag.
dress up, doing
Hmm.
makeup, drag,
Hmm.
hair, and he's fucking awesome. Every scene that Robert De Niro is in beyond the first 33 minutes of his portrayal is by far my favorite scene in this movie. Our favorite thing in this movie. He's so fucking likable in this. It's
Hmm.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a nice twist. I remember the first time watching this, I was like, that doesn't fit this tone of movie at all. Like, I was very like, ooh, I'm safe fantasy, like story. And they're like, okay, trauma time. And I'm like, what the fuck? No. And of course, then, great misdirection there that they do. by doing this reveal. And there's like a whole montage at one point of him just trying on different clothes and feather boas, and he's just a king. I
De
knew you
Niro,
would love him.
De Niro is so good in it. Like he's clearly embracing it. I mean, De Niro's thought of as this secret, super serious actor, but like you got to remember, he also did like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like have you ever seen like Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, all that?
Mm-mm.
I mean, very, very big comedies. They're making the third or fourth one right now. But like he talks about his nipples being milked in those movies. He's not afraid to like play against his type, and
Yeah.
he's going for it in this movie. And yes, I very much loved him. I just there's something about a character like that who goes against type and is so fun. And I don't know if we're doing a great job here of describing it. So he's pretending for his crew that he's Captain Shakespeare, by the way, which he later reveals is like he's like, yeah, it's a dumb name. I made it up.
Yeah,
Like
Shakespeare. He thought
Spear.
they would think it's really violent, and but
Yeah,
he would be getting away with being like this eloquent little, yeah.
yeah, being a little more fey and intelligent.
Do you mean femme when you're saying that?
I don't know. You know
Okay.
what? I think fey works, doesn't it?
Faye just makes it sound like you're trying to say gay and fag at the same time.
No, that's later in this movie where they say
Okay, cool.
where they say something else.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I could say it. I'm gay,
I
but
know
as a gay
you
representative, what
you
are
can.
you saying?
I'm not saying. You know what? I'm gonna Google right now, and then we're gonna find out if I'm editing this or not. Fey meaning.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's just like pertaining to do with fairies. Is what fae means.
Well, I still think that might fit.
I mean, sure. I mean, some would call him a fairy. Don't they actually call him something at the
They
the
call
crew call him something that
it's
we always
probably
knew you were.
they use an old term for. I'm not gonna say it because we're on film, but like they use it's an older term for the word you kind of used.
Yeah, there's an element there. It's just, and then that's a cute reveal in and of itself because the crew is like, by the way, we always knew, and
Yeah,
we were acting tough for you too.
yeah. We always knew. We don't care. You're still our badass captain. And like
Hmm.
he's sitting there like in his like girdle underwear, and I think he has like hearts drawn on his cheeks that he like painted on.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
yeah,
like in drag at the moment that they
yeah.
discover this side of him, which I think is so fun. And I loved it on the basis that like right now in media, not to go on like too big of a tangent on the other side, but right now in media, there's such a this element of anything that comes out that has any type of different character, gay, trans, whatever, just anything that is like different. People are like, this is so woke, the woke agenda. And everyone acts like it's brand new, and like this just like hasn't happened. So like the fact this movie is now it's almost 20 years old, and it has this character, and it has this like a gay man who's accepted as like a masculine figure still, and like it's just very I loved that it was existed in that time period because that would have been more controversial at that time anyway, but it was
Are
just
you
still
kidding me?
just like
That's around the time like I don't think it would have been more controversial, but like that's around the same time when like like 40-year-old virgin does a 7-minute joke where it's just the two guys playing video games going, you know how I know you're gay? Yeah, it's this, yeah, like making fun of that stuff was a lot more allowed at that
yes.
time. And like, but also, like you said, these characters are not being quote unquote shoved down our throats now. They've been around. By the way, they've been around since Shakespeare. Like what are you
Speaking of
talking?
Captain
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
that's what I mean. Like they've been around, and like so it is
Yeah.
kind of refreshing to see a movie like this and remember like, oh yeah, by the way, no, shut the fuck up. Like they have characters like that have gone against the norm or whatever you want to say, have always been around, and they always will be around. And guess what? The people will be too. So shut the fuck up.
Real. I just love that though, because if that movie got released today, there would be
Oh,
some whole discourse about it and how woke it is. And
they got Robert De Niro.
yeah, they got this my masculine icon to act gay. And like,
Yeah.
people would I don't know. I don't know what's happening in the cultural conversations around that right now, but it was nice to see in a movie from 2007 when usually it's a little bit
Yeah.
more
He was a
a little bit more
delight.
of a joke.
I would have watched a whole movie just on him. If this was a sequel and did get a spin-off, should be for Captain Shakespeare. But
Mhm.
yes, and Captain Shakespeare teaches him how to fight because he is a pussy.
Mhm.
Magically grows his hair, which
Yes.
I thought the scene was cool because he's like doing his hair and like he's cutting it like really, really short at first. So you're like,
Mhm.
oh, wow, that's interesting. That's not the way I thought it was going. Then the camera cuts away for like 1 second. It cuts back and he's got long, gorgeous locks.
Luxurious, yes. I
But
love that.
I thought they looked kind of weird on him because it's clearly a wig, but like
No.
it's so clearly a
It
wig.
looks good, dude.
I
There
mean,
are things in this
wigs
movie that
look
look
good,
bad.
but that is so much a
Listen,
wig, Blue.
there are things in this movie that look bad. There is moments of the CGI, especially in the beginning, that look like they're straight ripped from a fucking PlayStation 2, okay? That wig did not look that bad, okay? Not in comparison. Those little elephants at the beginning, that looks like straight up you ripped that off a Sony game from like around that time period. Like, but that I think his hair looked good. Well, I thought it was fun. So we get a training arc, we get a fashion little montage moment. We get that, and we get the like start of a feeling between the two.
Yes.
Spoilers, but
Yeah,
there's another love story happening.
who would have
Who
guessed?
would have guessed? Who would have
Yeah,
guessed?
and very subtly, or not so subtly, because you instantly pick up on it. At least I did, and it was my first time watching it. Is because you are at this point in the movie where you're about halfway through, probably right around this point,
Mhm.
and you are like, are these two ever going to fall in love? Because the movie's like half over. And as soon as I finally said that out loud, they do like the montage of them on the ship with Captain Shakespeare, and clearly they're falling a little bit. I believe Shakespeare even says something to her and sort of says it in like a like, oh, I like almost like like almost says that like I know you like him, but you don't know you like him yet. Kind of tells her that, but she's getting this not so subtle but subtle. Claire Danes is starting to literally shine. Like they're
Mhm.
putting in
They're
enough
dancing together, and she is.
they're putting an effect on her that is making her start to shine. Now, at this part of the movie, it's if you're stupid and or maybe have bad vision, maybe you don't notice it, but it's pretty apparent she's starting to shine when she's with Charlie Cox.
Yeah, and there's some dialogue around that time in the movie too that's very what's kind of telling. The moment that I fell in love with them as a couple is when they're having that conversation and she says something along the lines of there are shop boys and there are boys that work at shops. And just like this, I don't know, like she has this like dreamy kind of conversation of like she tells him you're not a shop boy. Like because he says that line earlier, right? He's like I'm a boy that works at a shop.
Yeah, he says that
And
to
he
the
has
bit. Yeah.
these he has his dreams, these aspirations, and like it's so cute for her to have he starts off this really dorky, kind of pathetic guy, and then she sees like who he really is, and then like she's falling in love with him, and it's just like this very cute like she definitely realizes she likes him before he realizes he likes her for sure, obviously. I mean, he still tries to go back to Victoria a little bit and like talk and like whatever. So there's a whole element there. But I fell in love with him right at that line, like the "You're not a shop boy." Ah,
I don't think the moment that you okay
yes,
there? You okay
yes,
there? You want to chill out? Maybe sit down?
no,
Okay. The part that I really would say I fell in love with them, I actually is going to be one of the weirder. I mean, obviously it's recency bias, so I'm not gonna say like it's one of the best, but I really, really, really enjoyed when she confesses to him her love and he's a mouse. I will put it in up there with one of my favorite romantic scenes in a lot of in movie history. I
yeah,
found it extremely cute. And now we're not jumping ahead that far. I mean, I'd say it's
yeah,
actually pretty much the next arc of the movie really is just to get where we're going. Um, they land. Captain Shakespeare gives him some thunder for fun. I don't know why he's like, hey, have some. And then they immediately run into the witch from the beginning of the movie. who still has his mother as a slave, who we find out, lucky for me, she hasn't aged a day. And I was like, woohoo, you're back in the movie, baby. Okay. But they make a deal with and also small point, Witch can't see her. There was a spell put on her by Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer was being petty and said, "You will not see the star. You will not touch the star. Nothing." So when the star's right in front of her, she don't see her. She don't talk to her. Like so.
There's no she doesn't even realize she's there.
Yeah.
But she makes a deal with Charlie Cox to take him to town for something that he had of his mother's, which was a magical item that protected him from magic, basically. So he gives her that, but she turns him into a mouse for the transport, which ultimately doesn't really make any sense considering by the time she gets there, she literally just undoes the magic and says, there you go. And I'm like, so you could have just let him sit in the fucking wagon and you would have been the same way, but whatever.
You got to deal with them. And, it causes stress on the animals guiding the wagon, just the whole thing.
So she turns him into a mouse, puts him in a little cage, puts him in the back of the wagon. Now the witch cannot see Claire Danes. So Claire Danes is in the wagon, and Claire Danes basically confesses her love to him. And it's I thought a very beautiful scene. I am a sucker for when a female, especially in a movie, because you very rarely see it. I feel like, especially in this type of movie, you very rarely see the female be the one to really take the lead, and like kind of say their feelings first. I feel like that's just never the way it goes. It's always the other way. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's just because me being a male, that's how I perceive it. But I always enjoy that in a movie. So I liked that. But the part that to me is adorable, I love mice. So there's this cute little mouse who's hearing this woman, this beautiful, perfect woman giving this unbelievable, declaration of love. And then she's like, did you hear any of that? And then he just kind of looks over at this wheel of cheese, and then she breaks a piece of cheese off for him and hands it to him. That was pretty funny.
She's thinking he did not absorb any of the information.
Yeah.
Which is partially why she tells him in the first place everything that's happening. I think that's actually a really good point, though, about how she has this like confession scene and blah blah and all this to him. And I don't say this in a negative or positive way. I think it's just like it is what it is. I think this movie, a lot of fantasy movies are going to be geared toward a more feminine audience. Not all the time, but especially this romantic like Princess Bride level. It is the target demographic is usually women or young girls. And that's very much the scheme. So you'll usually see a male character be more of the forward love interest than not. And you won't necessarily see this kind of dynamic. I think part of the reason this movie didn't do as well as it should have, especially like not lasted in people's brains, is because I do think it's a fantasy for boys. And I love it. I love it. We get the character, he's a character a lot of guys can relate to. He kind of like strikes out with women. Like he's nervous about hitting on them. Like there's this way hotter guy he's competing with. There's a whole thing.
Speak for yourself.
I'm not saying every guy goes through this. But then this girl sees his worth and his value and his dreams and aspirations. Like he very much with Claire Danes is like, yeah, I'm doing this for Victoria. And she's like, okay, what is she doing for you? You're getting her a star. What is she doing for you? Like it becomes they have a very beautiful relationship there. But everything about how the story unfolds, even the ending, I think is very much because I think it's a fantasy movie for boys. And I think that's harder I wish as a society we would allow more, especially like young boys, to like see a movie like this and really embrace the fantasy element and the cutesy element and the like, hey, it's okay to be gay and masculine. Like no one cares, by the way. And like, there's so many really good positive messages for boys. And I think a lot of the story that would have been their primary demographic. I think everyone can love this movie, but I think that was probably the initial intention. I think that's why it didn't do as well. I think fantasy, when it's geared toward women, I mean, look at something like Twilight. Like look at the success and the money and this, or the ACOTAR of the world. Like ACOTAR is a book series. Millions of copies, and it's because it's demographic.
I've listened to you talk about it before.
Yeah, and trust, it's all good content. But I really like this. It was really unique in that sense where it felt Like if I was a little boy and I was watching this movie, I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. Oh my God, dude, this would have been the coolest thing in the fucking world to me. Of course, I'm a more feminine person, so it is what it is. But yeah, I think it would have been hard for people to convince, you see this type of movie and you don't immediately think for a dude.
I mean, I would like to say that I would agree with you that this is why this didn't do as well. But again, I have no recollection of this existing, so I don't know what the marketing strategy looked
Yeah.
like. Because, like, in my mind, I think it's easier if you're going to pitch towards a larger male demographic for something like this. It's easier to pitch it as like a swords and sandals, Lord of the Rings type thing,
Yeah.
Oh, and then like, oh, they're, like it's easy to tell a 13-year-old boy, like, okay, yeah, Aragorn loves Liv Tyler. I can't remember her name. Like, but like, don't worry, like we're gonna get past that, and eventually he'll be chopping heads off. I think it's easier to get that, and then also like Princess Bride is easy to get. I also feel like easy to get young boys into because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, also it's really funny, like it's a comedy, and like it's not taking itself seriously, like I think it's also hard sometimes to get little boys, especially probably around this time, to truly get them into like a fantasy romance movie that doesn't have like one of those other like major elements of like, oh yeah, but it's going to be super funny, right? Or
Yeah.
there's going to be like badass like action. If it's like, no, this is just going to be kind of a straight up fairy tale with a love story, it's harder, I think, to get little boys interested in this. And if it's from the male perspective and they're not as interested in it, so now the girls are less interested, who are you really pitching to? It's kind of like, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day is why it didn't do well, because, and you're right, more content that has that kind of element to it is going to be romance is a subplot.
Yes.
It is just happening. like, and it'll be a very short amount of the movie, and usually often and not, like, not necessarily in the Lord of the Rings, but like in a lot of movies, they're like that female character isn't really developed and stuff, because it's just we have to squeeze in romance subplot here. It's happening. Versus
there's a few girls that are going to see this shit. We got to get something in here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we got to add some shit. I guess they're in love. I don't know. Like they add shit all the time.
We better make him kiss a girl, otherwise everyone's going to think he's gay. Like
literally, dude. Like they added that romance to The Hobbit for what? But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so it is really hard. It is, I think, for that demographic, and it doesn't pull any strings, and it just is what it is authentically. And especially at that time, like I do wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, like wonder what that movie would do as far as success wise now. You definitely have an angry mob about the whole like wokeness of it all, but I wonder if, like, we're still not at a society where like it'd be okay. There are things on both sides. Like I grew up watching Teen Titans, loved it. They're like, oh, this is too popular with girls and we want to sell more boy toys, so let's not do this. There is so much of that in marketing and different things that it's like, maybe we're still not ready for a world where this kind of movie is more common. But for what it is, like, oh my God, if I have a son, this one's going on the list immediately.
And I mean, we're not even there yet, but like, this is the type of movie that like this is the type of movie that went away. This is what sucks. Like, and I know that there's tons of people out there who like hate, it's almost like cliche to bitch about like Marvel and Disney and like how much they dominate. But like, the problem is that movies like this are what was sacrificed. When was the last time someone made an $85 million movie that was just taking a fucking chance, like on something kind of wild, not wild, but like off the beaten path, not often touched? And this is the shit that we're losing, and it sucks. And that's why it's not that I dislike Marvel and Disney, although I somewhat do.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people enjoy those movies, but the bitching about it is because we gave up a lot of unique, fun stories that will just never probably get made now, because that's where we're at.
Yeah, a lot of companies are not willing to put the same backing and the same finances around certain movies without a reputable name, a franchise, a callback to another series to build off of. I mean, there's so much to say in that world, and also the change in DVD sales and streaming and what that looks like. Like a movie that wasn't going to make that much necessarily in theaters, but was going to sell like in DVD costs, like that would have been a whole different conversation as far as original movies. But yeah, we just don't get them, especially this, a standalone fantasy movie.
Oh,
and I miss him.
and actually, I was just kind of following the plot along here, and I scrolled to the wrong spot. Apparently, at the 10-year anniversary, Matthew Vaughn, the director, was interviewed about it, and he said that they promoted it more as if it were Lord of the Rings, when in
Hmm.
reality, it had been more influenced by The Princess Bride. And he kind of said that that's what he thought was probably why people didn't really know how to take it, which is literally like exactly what we said. Like,
Literally verbatim. Yeah.
yeah, because
That's so funny.
imagine if that's how they promoted it and only showed the action scenes, and you show up to this movie and you're like, all right, we're gonna see some fucking orcs die, and all you see is a love story. You're probably like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah, like even the boys who would have liked that kind of story and maybe like asked to see that movie, we're not going to see it on that basis because that's not what it presented itself to be. And then the boys who wanted action and like fantasy adventure, blah blah, who got like a crumb of that, that's the subplot really at the end of the day. Like
yeah,
yeah.
there's like 2 fights in this movie and nothing to write home, but you're not gonna be like, ooh, wow, that was a heck of a sword fight they had there.
No, if anything, the coolest like fight scene is the witches at the end.
Yeah,
The
and
witches and
actually,
the prince.
and
That
to
was good.
me, yes, the torture scene,
Yes.
not
It
even a
was
fight,
awesome.
not even a fight, something like straight out of like one of my horror movies. Like,
Dude, I fucking loved that.
I mean, we're moving along here, okay, right? So
Hmm.
we've gotten through to he's confessed he oh by the way, he played a trick on her. He, as the mouse, heard everything he said. He requites, or not requites, what am I looking for here?
Returns the confession? What do you It's not unrequited love anymore.
It's requited.
Okay.
I think that's a word, and I'm just
It
gonna
is now.
I'm gonna confidently say it into the camera. He requites her statement. They fall even more in love. They share a night in bed together, but this is a children's movie, so we don't know what happens, but gotta presume that they're boning. At this point, the witches kind of get more involved. They attempt to kidnap her. They put a whole, like, they create, oh, there's a great part too. They create a fake little bar slash inn, and they take she Michelle Pfeiffer kidnaps some random dude and turns him into a goat to pull a wagon with another goat, at which point when she creates the bar, she takes the 2 goats, one of which was formerly the man, turns him into this big-titted woman, and then turns the goat into the innkeeper, but he still has the brain of a goat. I thought that was a pretty good little gimmick. Oh,
Hmm.
and the hardest I laughed in the entire movie is in this part. I wish I would have it on a reel if I could. There's a random fucking unicorn shows up. Just accept it. We're in a fantasy movie. It's got to be a unicorn.
Loved
And
it.
the unicorn is trying to protect the star. And the Michelle Pfeiffer is like, get him. And the goat goes charging at him, at the unicorn, at which point the unicorn just slams into it. It turns back into a goat, hits the wall like a sack of shit, and I think is just straight up dead. But the way it happens is so fucking funny. Like,
Yeah.
I hate watching animals die, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's a pretty comical way to go. That's
Yeah.
how this movie does it. This movie will show you something that is traditionally like dark, like people be dying, and
Yeah.
you're like, ah, you just like fall into the fantasy of it all. Really.
Truthfully, I mean, almost when every character dies, maybe minus at the again the final scene, every
Mhm.
death is literally treated as like a comical moment.
Yeah, and like it's barely affecting them. Like they're just ghosts and they like watch the plot now mostly. Like,
Yeah,
what? Okay,
they're just like
fine.
watching. They're almost like us watching them, like our eyes into the movie. Like, oh yeah, well this fucking happened. All right.
Yeah, this one as well be happening. Cool.
Yeah.
Does he know? Oh, okay.
I think we're kind of coming up to the final scene here. Would you say?
Yeah, that really has more meat to it. There's some little like moments and conversations along it, but essentially they wanted Yvain to like be so madly in love and happy and all these things because that will be a better return for them on the back end. They gotta cut her heart, okay, but she's gotta be shining, okay.
Yeah. The more she shines, the better the better magic they're gonna get out of it.
Mm-hmm. And we get this culmination of all of our storylines, essentially. We get the witch, we get the prince, we get Tristan, and we get Yvain, my lover, Claire Danes. We get them all in one circular element here. And it's a little spooky. Like the magic in this world is very interesting. And I really like one thing I love in a movie. I like when the bad guys get hurt. So it was spooky. It was like this voodoo, like arm breaking. I mean, it was just like really like a lot for a kids movie. But he was portrayed as the bad guy.
Yeah, but is he? He's just as bad as all the other prince. Okay.
He killed like innocent people. Remember the guy that was doing the runes and the stuff, and they were like throwing them up in the air, and there was a big suspenseful moment.
But he wasn't innocent. He was working for his brother.
Okay, sure. You're right. But that also, does that mean you have to die?
I mean, if you're encouraged by your father to kill your own brothers.
Yeah, but like your brothers. He didn't say strangers were about to get it.
I mean, but it's a stranger who's working for your brother. I don't know. I'm just
He's
saying.
He's at least morally gray.
Okay, that's fair. He's
at least morally gray.
Of the brothers that were left alive at the beginning of the movie, he seems to be the coldest.
Yeah, he's the one that pushed it. When we talked earlier about that prince getting pushed out the window, that was this guy.
Yeah.
So he's definitely seen as, he was probably going to be the top dog, so to speak.
So, but him and so the witches have the star. They've kidnapped the star. And him and Tristan, they're brothers, by the way. We as the audience member know this. They don't know it yet, but they are brothers. It's kind of a thing we're leaving out, but it's really just sort of, it's there. You can figure it out. It's not like a hidden thing. If you've seen it, you know where we're going. But they realize that their common enemies is the witch. They both want the star to be alive. So like, let's go in there and fight together. Although immediately when they go in there, only the prince fights. Like Tristan's just like, all right, I'm gonna hide behind this barrel. Like,
yeah, Tristan is very much I think he also says at one point, he's like, I could never kill anyone. And then kind of kills an undead person. I guess he gets reanimated. So does that count?
Well, he kills the witch too.
Well, no, doesn't she? Does he?
Yeah. We'll
I thought she just gave up. I don't remember that
No.
scene now. I'm playing it in my head.
No, she pretends to give up, which makes no sense. But
yeah, and then there's that weird misdirect. That's one of the scenes about the movie I don't get.
It doesn't make any sense. No.
Yeah, why did we do that? Like at this point, the sisters gone, and it's like she like.
Oh, actually, she doesn't kill him. Yvain does.
There it is. I was like, does he?
Yeah. So the scene that you're referring to earlier, though. Okay, so the prince is fighting the witches. I think he kills one successfully. If I'm pretty sure he kills one of them successfully. Right. And then inadvertently Tristan kills one because they're shown this movie is cruel to animals. Every animal in this movie is fucking getting it. And they finally get the witches in particular are cruel to animals, so he lets all the animals out and they eat one of the witches alive. So now
I loved that too.
That is very good. Although the choices that he had, we showed that they had alligators before, and he's like, I'm gonna let out the ferrets. And I was like, interesting choice.
Cruel. Like they're gonna take a lot longer to kill someone.
And a few of those might go. If you let out like 2 or 3 of those gators, I think you're gonna be good.
Yeah, I think we're fine. But yeah, they're notoriously bad to them, so that was like a fun little like revenge. I do think like a lot of the bad people, even though there's a morally gray element, they kind of get what's coming.
Yeah. But so the prince now he's fighting. He's already killed one. So Michelle Pfeiffer takes out a voodoo doll and does the thing that I've seen in Chucky before, literally a scene out of Chucky, where maybe it was a little more gruesome in Chucky, but it's the sentiment is the same. She starts breaking his arms and legs, which just you see it. It's just because he's wearing a long coat and everything. You're not really seeing it. It's just gross.
There's no blood in this movie.
No blood.
None.
Except for blue. There's blue blood.
Yes.
Because one of the brothers slices the other one's neck, and I had to Google it because I was like, why the fuck is his blood blue? As I looked it up, it's a thing in the graphic novel that this is based on, anyone who has blue blood is signified to be of royal descent, which would kind of make me think, has Tristan never fucking cut his finger in his entire life?
Well, and
Whatever.
maybe he's half. But yeah, isn't blue blood? That's kind of like a common thing. I don't think that came from this. I
I don't
mean,
think
they
it
use
came
it,
from
but
that,
yeah.
but they were using it in this.
Yeah, so they get around a lot of violence and a lot of things. Like even at one point, like the prince is like, "Go clean my sword," and it's clean. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
sure.
But they have no problem showing this man get all of his limbs broken, and then she drops him in a pond, which he drowns in midair. So he
Yeah.
drowns, but he's not even in water, which I thought was a pretty cool scene.
It was very cool, but very dark. You're like watching a man drown in real time, and you're like, okay, all his limbs are broken. Okay, like I don't know if he did enough bad to really warrant all of that, but
I'm curious if in the novel maybe he does some more, because it does feel like he really got it, and you're like, I guess he was bad, but like we didn't really see him do anything that's bad.
A pretty bad end.
Yeah,
I guess it's more to solidify how evil Michelle Pfeiffer's character is as a witch. Like,
yeah.
I do like that. I like that the bad guys do something bad and they're powerful, and I like that the victims of that are, bad as well. I mean, there's an element to that. I'm too burnt out on movies where the good guys get hurt all the time, so that was a nice little change of pace. I was like, okay, might as well. Might as well get hurt.
Just crack
it. That was crazy.
That was good.
Why did they do that?
It was fucking wild. But this is the part that's probably the strangest part in the movie. Then out of nowhere, Michelle Pfeiffer looks around and is like, "My sisters are dead. I have nothing left to live for," and just like turns all of her magic off and says, "Go, just go." And like they start walking out of the building. Then she immediately, like 6 seconds later, turns around and is like, "Ha ha ha! You thought I was being serious? Now I get even more magic." And it's like, what did you gain by this ruse?
Like, it literally is just to, like, I don't know, give them 30 seconds apiece. Like, I don't know. It's a weird misdirect.
If anything, all it did, they were on opposite sides of each other. Like, she was in between Yvain and Tristan. Now you just put them together, which ultimately is what undoes you bitch.
Yeah, maybe she got too cocky. I don't know.
Yeah. So then Yvain and him and Tristan hug each other, and she's like, "Trust me." At which point they burn so bright that they blow the witch up with their love. And
yes, so punk rock, dude. I fucking love that shit. I love it.
And then it cuts to their Tristan being sworn in as king.
Well, he also goes back to talk to Victoria.
Well, he did that before this, actually. We kind of skipped over that.
Oh, yeah, we did kind of skip that. Yeah, basically, he talks to Victoria, and, like, he's kind of, like, breaking it off. It's kind of a whole thing. He, like, beats Henry Cavill up. It's, like, whatever. And then he's like, "Oh, my God, Claire Danes, she can't pass a while. She'll die." And then he does this dramatic, like, run back. I kind of loved it. The suspense was fun.
To me, it's such a movie thing where I was like, I mean, okay, so we're going backwards a little bit, but, like, fuck it. Like, we're having fun. If we need to split this episode up and do a whole nother episode on Wristcutters, it's fine.
We can just have a long episode. We can just have a good time. Stardust is fucking good now, dude. It's so fucking good.
But like, and I'm actually seeing there's a lot of similarities between them, or parallels, but whatever.
We did choose romantic movies.
Well, one's about stars. There's no stars in the sky. And the other one, there's the graphic novels. Okay, whatever. But like, okay, so whatever. So after they have their night, their romantic night together, where they probably bone, but it's a PG-13 movie or PG movie, so they don't. He wakes up before she does. He promised Victoria he was going to give her a star, so he cuts off a piece of her hair while she's asleep. Chicks love it when you do that. Don't worry. Try it tonight, fellas.
Yeah,
you will
they
get
love
laid.
when you gift their hair to the other woman that you were talking to before them. They love that.
Every element of that is for sure gonna get you laid, bro. Try it tonight and blame it on me. He takes a piece of her hair and is like, I guess and then he tells again. this is the part where I'm like, God damn it. Sometimes I hate movies because this only would happen in a movie. Nobody would be this fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Again, he sneaks off. He tells this is a different innkeeper, like a real one. He's like, tell her I'm going to go. I have to go do something for the love of my life. He words it in a way that, of course, when Claire Danes wakes up and the innkeeper's like, oh, he said he had to do something for the love of his life. She immediately, of course, is like, oh, well, he's talking about Victoria, but you as the audience member are like, he wasn't, he meant you. He's just going to tell Victoria he can't be with her, which you're like,
Yeah.
as a normal human being, you're sitting at home like, who gives a fuck about her? You shouldn't look at this hot ass girl you have. She's a literal star. And
Yeah.
that piece of street trash is, who cares a shit?
He's an honorable man. He wants to go cut it off. And I think he wanted to live up to his promise. And he is that type of character. He wants to live up to his promise and all this. So it's like, it's cutesy. It's like, okay, all right. I wasn't mad at it. Obviously, my least favorite trope, though, is like miscommunication. It's one thing when it comes to another character, but yeah, it's just like a very clearly like miscommunicated scene. So of course she thinks the worst, and it's just like a whole dumb ordeal.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah, we get our happy ending. We get our prince and his princess.
He's the prince. They live for, I believe they said that her star power allowed them to live. They said something weird, like
1,000 years or something. It was like crazy.
It was some weird thing about beyond that, beyond the lives of a normal human being, at which point they didn't die. They just looked at each other and said that they've had enough, at which point they rocket into the sky and are now 2 stars in the sky.
I love love. One small problem with that scene, though, and this is also to back up my saying that I think this movie is geared toward boys. Not that that's bad. I actually think that's actually really refreshing. Mm-hmm. But like, obviously, the mom should have been the queen. Like they're like, oh my god, all the princes are dead. Who's gonna be the king now? Who's gonna take over the royal kingdom? And it's like, our sister? No. How about her bastard child? Bitch, like, what the fuck? Like, was very dumb to me.
I agree with you that makes logical sense and would be better, but they did do a specific line early in the movie when the father is talking to the sons. They're like, what about our sister? And they're like, we haven't seen your sister in years, and you have to be a man to take the throne. I was like, okay, all right, yeah. Well,
that was the one element I didn't really need, because we get like Robert De Niro, like, as this like fruity like pirate. Like, we get people who take this, they subject this cultural like narrative, right? Like they're very different in that sense, and or like they're things that are shown as like weaknesses or like celebrated by other characters. So it's like, why do we have to have like, why can't it be then, oh, okay, well, like Tristan's the king and he's like, you know what, like I just want to enjoy this time with her, like why isn't his first fucking royal decree to just give it to his mom and his dad? Like, they could just easily like circumvent that if they wanted to keep the whole like male line thing. It's just dumb to me. It's silly.
I 1,000,000% agree, Blue. I mean, this is one of the things I literally thought about this as I was watching it. And I'm like, I know this is a trope in these movies that like the person becomes king or whatever. I was like, if I'm in this movie and they're like, you are king, I'd be like, no, I'm not. I don't want to be king. Are you out of your fucking mind? Who wants to be king? Like, truthfully. Now, like, if you do, you're a psychopath. Anyone who wants to be president is a psycho. Anyone who wants to be king is a psycho.
I think I could be king of this world. I said what I said. I don't want to do it here. I could do it there.
But my thought is like, just imagine this. Literally, like, what, a week ago? This fucking guy was getting fired from working at a bread shop, and now he's the king of the entire magical world. He doesn't even know, he knows nothing about this world outside of like the 4 places he's been, and he wants to be king. I'd be like, dude, how about like I just live in this fucking castle, and again, mom, you know what's going on here, you figure it out. Like why do I like, let me just be here and fuck my star, and like we're just gonna hang out
and like maybe have kids, and then like we can continue the royal life. Something. And it would have been really nice. We get a kind of, you see them in the background, you see the mom and the dad like have this kind of reunion and this kind of like cutesy little thing. And like you see them kiss and you see them stand next to each other in this coronation, and it is cute. I would have liked a scene about them because you get all of this in the beginning. That's like you get a lot of them, right? Like you were like, these are the main characters. Like, okay. It would have been nice to have a scene at the end where they like had some romantic one-liners at each other of like, look at what our love did. Like, because in a sense, like it is their love story. Like they met on a whim. They should never have met. They liked each other immediately, had a baby, right? And then that baby grew to like their culmination of human and fantasy world merged into this child, and like took out a lot of the evil in the world and brought them back together again. Like it's really their love story too. And I would have really liked to see that, even if she wasn't queen, even though she should have been.
And also, I mean, I know it's just done for like the cutesiness at the ending of the movie. Ostensibly have brought the two worlds together because there's people from the human world at the coronation of the king. Victoria's there, Superman's there, I think the old man who guards the wall is there. Like also like, okay, so we're just all living together now. That's definitely not going to cause any issues on the human side. We were always super fucking normal when it comes to power and whatnot.
Which, speaking of, there is a scene at the very end where we get Robert De Niro's character winking at Superman. They have a little moment. It's clear they like each other because they could not have had an affair otherwise. Because how these characters would have met? Like it's almost implied like he's already cheating on Victoria with this man. They met 2 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure. I'm okay with them liking each other, but like, girl.
Yeah, I didn't get that. And then also, I was also like, all right, so Victoria, like, I get it. We're probably not supposed to think she's a very good person, but now we're like, oh, also her and like Superman are like kind of fighting. Like they don't seem to be like happy together. And then on top of that, she's getting cucked by Robert De Niro.
Yeah, you can, that's also why I think it's like a boy movie in a way, because it's like now you can kind of see her at the coronation. It's just like, yeah, like you should have picked me, like you should have seen my potential, blah blah, like from the start. But like obviously like that's not how the story ended up going. So it's just like to, I don't know, like punish her low key.
I mean, it's written by Neil Gaiman, who has some allegations against him, so that doesn't
Not surprised that that's how that
entirely
story goes.
surprise me.
Yeah, so it was wonderful though. I absolutely adore this movie, and for me, this is at least a 4 out of 5. I mean, it's so cute.
I'm with you. I had a lot of fun with it.
Must own.
I'll go with a 4. Like 3.754, right in that area. I had a lot of fun with it. Had zero expectations because I had no idea what the fuck I was getting into. But by the end of it, I mean, it was super, super on board. Loved Robert De Niro, thought it was really fun. And again, I think a great part about it is that it isn't a movie that you watched and you were like, all right, well, let's watch part 2 now. No. A shy 128 minutes. Whole book in 93 minutes. No, sorry, 98 minutes. Maybe some directors could fucking take a message from this.
Yeah, that movie stayed exactly as long as it should have. Maybe a few more minutes. Give me some scenes with the queen. Yeah. Who I think should have been queen, but that's okay. Everything else, pacing wise,
she was my queen in the movie.
Underrated element before we switch topics. Loved the soundtrack. Soundtrack was very good to me. The soundtrack stuck out to me, and a lot of the suspenseful moments stuck out to me, and I just think the greatest things about the movie were like some of those. I thought it was really fun.
I agree. I mean, well, I'll say soundtrack. I can't really recall. It just kind of sounded like a generic fantasy soundtrack to me.
You're crazy.
But some of the shots, like particularly, we didn't really get to discuss it, but the shot with the soothsayer and how he's throwing the dice or the bones or whatever the fuck they are.
That suspense in that shot. Oh my God.
Like when I saw that, I think this is before. Is this before Kick-Ass? Let me see. Matthew Vaughn did.
I think so.
Yeah, this is like literally his first. He did Layer Cake, which is like his big indie hit. Then he did this. Then it was Kick-Ass and X-Men. When I saw that shot, and then like I was like, okay, that's how he shoots like his big movies. He likes to do that like super zoom in close up, like, you know, spin the camera around like 360. Like I saw his a lot in that shot where I was like, okay, nope, I see where you started and where you're at now with the Kingsman.
Yeah, that was Suspense, great. Soundtrack, to me, great. Every performance, great. I loved it. There's some story notes I would have changed, but 4 out of 5.
No, fair enough. I also really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5. Good pick, Blue.
Thank you. I try. I do think it fits our category. It is underrated. If you haven't heard of this movie, and for some reason, even though we explained the entire plot, you want to see the magic for yourself, please do. It is. It is just. It's a treat. It's a treat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. Now, Blue, I'm gonna I'm gonna edit this part out. Do you want to continue at this point? Because we are an hour and 11 minutes in. It is midnight. We can do wrist cutters now. But I don't
have
know.
no problem with keep going.
Okay.
So I'm good. Even if we want to like split the episode and do like that's totally cool too. Because obviously we had a lot to say about this one, more than I thought.
Yeah. Well, I think we had a lot of fun with it, and it's a whole, with a fantasy movie. You have to set up where the fucking movie is. It's hard. Like you have to break down like this is what it is and where it's going and whatnot. Kind of like we're going to have to do with this one a little bit. Little bit. It's a little easier of a setup, even though it is also just as fantastical of a world. But whatever. All right. So now, are we ready for my movie that I picked?
An underrated movie as well.
This is an underrated movie as well. Unlike your movie, this movie lost money.
I think they both lost money.
If yours did, it lost it because of advertising
marketing.
costs. Well, yeah. So because technically the rule of thumb for movies is whatever their budget is, you take half of that, and that's what you put into advertising. So you actually have to so if a movie's worth $50 million, you have to make 75 before you break even. That's kind of the rule of thumb. But whatever. That's just beside the point. I'm being a nerd. I like Hollywood. This is a $1 million movie that made a whopping $454,000.
Woohoo!
I got my $20 on DVD.
I have it in my cart as well, and I'm even gonna grab the book.
This is 1 year earlier than your movie. This is 2006 Wristcutters: A Love Story. I guess, should I give the basic elevator pitch summary and then kind of get your first impressions of it?
Yeah.
Okay. I love this movie. I saw it probably right around here. I don't know how this is probably something I literally probably rented from a video store, if I'm being honest. Shut the fuck up. Anyway,
I'd have my mom take me to those. Get it? Because I was just like so young and youthful.
Yeah, I know. Part of the worst generation of all. Anyway, anyway, it is it's labeled as a dark romantic comedy. The premise of this movie is quite simple. It's also based on a it's based on a short story that was turned into a graphic novel. So it's dealer's choice there. The premise of this movie is that if you kill yourself, presumably heaven and hell are real, but we don't go to either one of those places. If you kill yourself, you essentially go to purgatory. They don't call it that, but that's essentially what it is. It's essentially life, but everything's a little bit shittier. And it's filmed to look that way. This movie is a lot of gray and sepia and just dark, boring tones. You can't smile, but you still have to go to work. You still have to like live a job, but like now your friends aren't there unless they killed themselves too. That's the trick. And it's the story of honestly a little bit similar to the first one. We've got a guy played by Patrick Fugit named Zaya who kills himself. He awakens to have to work in a fucking pizza place. And yep. And he's still in love with the girl that he essentially killed himself over, realistically. And it turns out he finds out that actually she offed herself too because of him, quote unquote. And he now is setting out to go find her with his best buddy, who was by far my favorite character in the movie, Eugene, who I loved, a crazy Russian man in this movie. And it sort of becomes a road trip. But guess what? They pick up another hitchhiker in this land, played by 2000s emo queen Shannon Sossaman. You never would guess what happens. Two of these characters are going to fall in love. Who could you guess? Anyway, what
Who would
did
have
you
thought?
think? What would you, before we go in, I know you
Mhm.
knew nothing about this movie because nobody
Yeah.
fucking does, but like, what did you think?
I had never heard of it. I'm always excited for your movie picks, though. I knew it was going to be something interesting at bare minimum, and I do have a lot of thoughts about this movie. I do want to kind of give like a little moment, obviously through the title of the movie. Yeah, we know it's a little darker. It is a dark romantic comedy, and I think it perfectly exemplifies what I want in that style, like of a dark romantic comedy. I think it really nailed the tone. I think that was really great. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about people unaliving. If that is uncomfortable for you, in any type of sense, this is probably not the movie for you. It does take in a more jovial light because, again, this is a comedy. But if that is, again, triggering or upsetting to you to see someone hurt themselves, see the aftermath, it is not shy about showing how people go. And that could be very triggering, especially to people like going through depression and all that stuff. So I want to say I take that seriously.
I do as well,
Um,
and it doesn't, and
yeah,
the movie doesn't. Truthfully,
no, it really doesn't. But that's something you
every
have to
death
be
is
okay with.
presented as a joke,
Yes,
with the exception
everything.
of one.
Ugh, I know.
Why in my personal opinion, and I could be wrong if I'm
Mhm.
misremembering, Zaya's is the only one that's ever really shown to be out of like depression, while all the others, it's like crazy, weird circumstances.
Is what he was going through depression? That's a whole other conversation. Um, Basically, yes. So that is your premise. That is what you're going into it. And I am someone who has struggled with self harm in my life and struggled with those kind of thoughts. I didn't find the movie particularly triggering, but I don't love some of it. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe because I don't think there's enough representation. Essentially, your main character is very much um, he kills himself for a reaction. He
Mhm.
wants someone who like he just like he's dying and imagining his ex-girlfriend crying at his funeral. Like that is fully like his motivation. Like he is just like that is his whole reason. And like I'm gonna be honest, my first note is men are pathetic. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. As someone who has struggled and gone through really hard breakups and had those type of thoughts, like we all own a pair of grippy socks. I get it. We've all been there, especially as teenagers. Like we've all been there. Um, oh my god. I don't think there was one person. I guess what I wanted to see is maybe a little bit of a serious tone in some aspects of it, but basically our main character, we're seeing he is very much doing this for a reaction and this temporary feeling. There's no indication he's struggled with these thoughts before. There's no indication that like he is just like had depression. There's no, I mean, you could take it in a more artistic sense. There's no like artistic sad to your soul type of moments. None of the characters that die have that. And I just thought it was like a little, I don't know, as someone, maybe because I've gone through those thoughts and I think about it like a little seriously, it is just so ugh, pathetic.
I mean, I don't disagree. Um, I will say you have to take I would say two things. Number one, we are not really shown Zaya's life outside of literally his final moments. But yes, he
Yeah,
is shown to be thinking about like what, oh, this is gonna make her think of me. And I will actually have to say,
crazy.
this is where I'm gonna pull my age card on you. Blue, you have to remember where the culture was for young people in 2006. This is prime emo time. This is
Yeah.
like there's a whole album that I still love by the band Armor for Sleep, called What to Do When You're Dead, and the entire album is built on the premise of this movie, essentially, where the lead singer, quote unquote, kills himself and imagines what it's gonna be like when she this exact thing, and then the rest of the album, he's a ghost. Anyway,
Mhm.
this is the culture that really was existing in young people, which, by the way, when we say young people, these people are in their 20s, I'd say, 20, like 23, 25 is probably what I'd say,
Yeah.
right? But like that really was like as much as it is pathetic or whatever, like that sadness that like young people, they were really fucking embracing it at this point in time.
Yeah, there is an element to that, and I remember some of that vaguely because I obviously wasn't super exposed to those times. 'Cause around this time, I would have been a very young child. Not that I didn't already have those thoughts,
Mhm.
but and I was already interested in like the subculture and like starting to dress a certain type of way. So I have a very little understanding of more of the adult themes around those times. But at the same time, it's just very I was almost okay with it if it was just one character. I was like, okay, like whatever. Maybe that's like maybe that's their journey. You're like realizing I threw my whole life away for some bitch. Like he misses his mom, he misses his dad. Like there's really like good opportunities for change. And over again, we just see characters like there's another character he meets at the bar, and it was kind of the same situation. She got in a fight with her boyfriend and she kills herself and leaves a note like, "Are you sorry now?" It's like, shut the fuck up. Like you're all insufferable. You've all learned nothing. Like you're all pathetic. Like stop it. Damn it.
I agree, and I'm not saying that that is the only way that committing this act is going to go out, but unfortunately some people do treat it as a I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. You're going to feel bad for me. I
Yeah.
mean, I will, but I will say though, all that being said, I still think that this is a healthier version of this than the other thing. Like that 13 Reasons Why show is the most unhealthy fucking thing I've ever seen
Yeah.
regarding the topic. At least this is like having a like it's a little lighthearted. It has like a love story, and spoiler alert, guess what? He fucking doesn't die in the end. But he gets a second chance at life. But like that movie, that show that was like a cultural phenomenon, I
Mm-hmm.
watched it and I was like, this is literally like the worst thing to tell people who are struggling with these thoughts. Like, guess what? You can make a list and they'll all have to fucking do it. They have to listen to every fucking word you say. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that show like actively had a really negative. They had to change some of the opening scenes because it was like so negatively affecting other human beings into
I
like
watched it
harming
jaw
themselves.
agape. I was like, this
Yeah,
is like, it's essentially Saw, but like you killed yourself. Like,
yeah.
and then you leave a little note and go, ha ha ha, follow the trail. Ha
And
ha ha
these are the
ha.
reasons why I did it. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Maybe this
Yeah.
is going to come off as too harsh. I have done a lot of growth and a lot of change. If you are at listening to this and you're at the point where you're like, "Oh my god, this person's never going to talk to me again," or blah blah blah, I should just fucking kill myself, and they'll see then. If this keeps you alive, you're pathetic. Like you're fucking pathetic. I'm so sorry. Man the fuck up, woman or man. You have to lock in. Like you
Mhm.
have to lock in. This cannot. I get it, especially if this cast was a little younger. Like they're teenagers, they're more impulsive. Okay, I can kind of forgive a little bit more, but like you have to find something else. You have to find something else. Like I don't know. I don't know. My own depression was more of a and this isn't to say it's better, right? It isn't to say and compare, but I was always like I had depression from a young and just hormonal imbalance for a long time. I had a lot of issues with religion at the time because I was like, damn, God made me like this. That's fucked up. I hate God now. Like I had a lot of like complex feelings about death and about this and like this world and like being depressed and like this artistic spirit that like the Sylvia Plath like I like literally like I was going through this at like 8. Okay, like I was just like at that age already kind of processing on that level and had that kind of mentality around it. Like I was never in even in the height of my depression throughout the many years, I would never like get into a fight with my mom or like a boy would break up with me and I'd be like, this is it. It would always be some existential like I'm gonna kill myself and talk to God right now because he fucking sucks. Like I'm gonna like it was for something. It's just like I truly can't empathize, and I'm sorry if that comes off as cold or harsh or whatever. I cannot empathize with any of these characters' behaviors. And the one character I wanted to have a story of something died on accident. I was so mad, dude. I was so fucking mad. I know I'm jumping ahead. I was so pissed. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Of course you are. My perfect little angel in the story. Of course. Like, and of course, no one learns anything. It'd be one thing if the characters all died for some stupid bullshit. It would be one thing if that made them realize the importance of life and being alive and all these things. This guy in the beginning of the movie who kills himself to make his ex-girlfriend sad, the minute he finds out that she has also killed herself, he's on the hunt. He's got to find her. He's got to. Bitch! Like, you are repeating the same pattern. Ah!
I mean, you're
I
not
hate
wrong.
it. I
You're
hate
not
it
wrong.
so
I
much.
mean, there's a little bit of, again, going this with this movie that I presume at this point is going to be in last week's episode. Uh, they're both pathetic at the beginning of this movie. Now, I will say, in my opinion, Zaya is very much like the other one. I think he's intentionally presented as being pathetic. You're supposed to be like, wow, okay, yes, he, whether or not you pick up on the fact that like he's doing this for attention and nothing else, really,
Mhm.
that it is pathetic. But like a lot of the other people that are shown, like again, so we let's introduce, there's three main characters. You might
Yeah.
as well get to. So he's at a bar, or we don't know how long he's been in purgatory, but he's at a bar. Two girls come up to him. Eugene also interacts with them. Eugene's this Russian guy. Eugene is very brash. He's very overtly loud. He's a kind of a stereotypical Russian for this time period. And they become buddies pretty quickly. But Eugene's whole thing is that not only he's one of the only people that his entire family is in purgatory because they all have offed themselves. And I thought that his story was pretty unique. I liked that whole
Mhm.
aspect of them showing the entire family. My favorite part being when he when the little boy is like standing on the table and he's gonna hang himself, and he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking do it, and he's like, no, you're not. And he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking do it. And he almost sounds exactly like what you were just talking about, like
Mhm.
like saying all the wrong things, like, oh
Mhm.
no, and they'll be sorry, whatever. And then he takes the noose off his neck and then just smacks the living shit out of him.
And that's me to you guys. If you feel this way, imagine me. Well, tell me the reason to keep going and I'll step down. Go ahead and step down for me. Okay. But bitch, that's all he needed to say.
And then at which point, and then it cuts to Eugene doing it, which I will question if his method would work, but I did like, so he's playing in a punk band and nobody fucking likes him, and he just goes, ah, fuck it, and he pours a beer on him and the guitar, and he gets electrocuted. I was like, pretty sure there's been 1,000,000,000 beers that have been spilled on guitars while they've been played, and I don't think I've seen anyone die from that, but we'll go along with it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
So what do you think, old Eugene here? I like this. I always like an over the top character. Who would have guessed? And he is that. He is that for this movie.
I love Eugene. I love the whole family element. I thought he was one of the more interesting characters. There's a more interesting side cast than the main cast is a little unfortunate, I think. I get the main character and like that personification is supposed to be like this certain type of man who I cannot respect. And that's fine. Um but some of the other characters just had genuinely more interesting backstories or more interesting plots in general. I do think one of them is Eugene. I love that he finds this like they find this friendship together. They go on like this car ride. Eugene's car is also like a weird thing in there. There's a black hole in under one of the seats where
Yeah.
things just like fall out of. There's a lot. The car lights aren't like turning on. It's just like a whole thing. Um, and their car like slowly it gets a little bit like fixed as like there's like a whole relationship with the car and like the plot of the movie. It's not strong, but it's very cute.
It is there.
Um, yes, and I loved the accents. I loved the behavior, the humor, the stories. All of it was really cool. How he kept calling his family in Purgatory.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, every truck stop or whatever, he's constantly calling his family. Like, despite
Mm-hmm.
being kind of like a little bit of a boorish pig, he's like still like calling his mama and whatnot.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and he, like, tries to get with our we eventually, as we're going on a road, we get our hitchhiker, and he's, like, kinda, like, insinuating a little something, something, and she's like, "No."
He literally grabs her ass at one point.
Yeah,
He straight up essays her actually.
and
Like,
she's like, no."
yeah, which she
"No,
like,
thank you."
yeah, but yet still remains friends with him. But yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
they pick up McCall on the way there, an insane name. Uh, I
Yeah.
presume that's her last name. I'm presuming we never get any other name though. We just get McCall.
Everyone has a weird name. What's like
Eugene's a name as a normal name.
sure, but he's the only one.
Well, I mean, there's only three. Well, yeah, Zaya, Eugene, and McCall. All right, well,
Yeah,
two for.
that's odd.
They pick her up. Now her whole thing is, which I know you have an issue with, so I might as well let you describe it because otherwise we're going to be describing the same thing twice. So she's got a bitch for being there. She does not believe that she belongs there, and this is, I would say, it probably going to cause a debate here. So let's go.
Okay, she says she doesn't belong there. The reveal eventually, she doesn't say at first. She just tells the gang, "I don't belong here. It was an accident." And she's all like, whatever. Manic Pixie Dream Girl about it. Which I don't think there's any argument there. I think that's what she is. Though we'll see.
She made a career out of it for about 10 years.
Yeah. She is very much giving Manic Pixie Dream Girl in this fair, and she is a beautiful lady. I get her. I just think her character could have been a lot more interesting. But yeah, so she says it's an accident. Later, it's revealed that she had an accidental overdose, and that is like her plot line. So that's why she is in this situation, and she's like, I am going to go talk to the people in charge of purgatory, basically. And I think like she has to be like this accidental thing, and like that's why she's there. I think it's just, I don't know, like they want to make her like this, like she's so like, well, one, she's so different, like what a lifestyle. She's just like doing drugs by herself in the car, like she's kind of a cool girl, and this like accidentally happened, and like she's perfect, so like why would she ever like want to kill herself? Like she's just like it's a little annoying to me, a little bit.
I don't disagree. Well, I don't find it annoying, but what I find to be odd is that assuming that Zaya and Eugene have been there, it could be fucking centuries. We don't know how long that they've been in this place.
No idea. Mm-hmm.
They would have at some point come across another drug addict who died. And I feel like the bitch of the script here would be, couldn't they clearly have been like, listen, like that's not the way it works here. If you die, here an overdose is considered you did it yourself. Like that's just is what it is. But that conversation's never had. It's almost as if they're like, well, we've never met a drug addict before. And it's like, what? Like,
yeah. There's no gray area for like if you had just were on a cliff taking a picture and you stumbled, and like does that count as you killing yourself or this? It's very much seen as like the act of you just taking those drugs is like enough cause to say that like you knew the risks, which like we don't really know. So that's kind of a weird point for the movie to have anyway. I just think she would have been more interesting if she had some type of story or depression or something along those lines, because I mean obviously people don't tend to turn to drugs because things are fine, so fair enough, but it's really not like I would have liked to see some bonding through them. I would have loved to see a conversation between the two main like romantic leads of like, I regret this, or like I should never have done blah blah blah, and I only did this because my ex-boyfriend, or like this, and he'd be like, my ex-girlfriend sucks. Like they could have had a million conversations that were like bonding them in some way, or like it caused them both to grow from the experience. Like there's never a moment where she's like, if I was alive again, I would never do drugs. She's just like mad she's there. She's like, it's never like, I see the value of life now, like I can't believe that happened to me. And he's not that way either. And like it just could have been like a nice story.
I mean, I'll give you that. I mean, truthfully, they never discuss their prior lives really, other than the fact that like, I'm going to get my ex-girlfriend. Like that's really, they don't discuss their prior lives. And I agree with you on that. And again, I probably intentionally so. I'd be curious to know in the comics or in the book or whatever, if they do flesh out the rules a little bit more. Like, is it, like, what if you're taking drugs, but you secretly wanted, like what I mean? Like if where the reality comes into play there, I think that would be cool. That being said, and maybe it's just because I'm a sucker for emo shit, especially of this era.
Sure.
I really liked them falling in love. I liked their little montage. I liked knowing it before they know it. It's always a good time in a movie when you know it before he knows it, and you're like, "You goddamn dumbass!" Like,
Both of the movies we watched.
yes, yes. I bought their little falling in love moments
Yeah.
pretty well, and I thought that was good. And again, it's so simple, but a road trip movie works on me. It just does. Road trips are inherently used in movies because a lot of times the journey is the journey is the journey, but not just the journey. It's the journey of the people getting it. It's so simple and easy to like make some symbolism out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like doing that with this in this fun. It sounds weird to say fun what we're describing, but like this wacky world of dead
Mm-hmm.
people. I really enjoy, as well as, by
Yeah.
the way, you being a big person who likes like color schemes and whatnot. This it has one for sure. It's not
It's
pleasant to
shot
look at.
so like it feels like a dream. Like cars don't look right. Certain things like it feels very dreamy and grainy and like devoid of like color and light, like how life is, even though it does slowly enter the film back as they fall in love, but that's a whole other thing. I
Yeah.
just really would have liked to see a little bit more depth, dude. If you could imagine like one conversation where she's like she's going into like to find these people and like talk to the leaders of purgatory and like she like and it's out of like shame because like maybe she actually did want to die even though she wasn't like actively trying to like kill herself. Like
Mhm.
that would have been so fucking good, dude. That would have been so fucking good. And they robbed me of that. And I still liked their romance. I still liked their love story. Um though I don't really understand it. I mean, maybe I'm jumping ahead here, but they do have a moment of intimacy and they're just like on a beach of like used drug paraphernalia and condoms. I'm like, what is that? Like, is like, what are we, what's
Well,
happening?
yeah.
Like, what does that mean in the terms of the movie? Like, is that like, like I had a weird, I was like, would the drug user not know that? Is she like not addicted to drugs? She hadn't been trying to find drugs this whole time.
Also,
Like, is she
does
not
that
weirded
mean that
out?
there are drugs in this world?
Yeah,
Which
like,
we know there's booze because they drink booze constantly.
yeah.
So
And
I
it
guess yeah.
like, it prompts, like, a whole, like, other, like, list of conversations where it's just, like, I don't know, they just ignore certain things where it's like, "Okay, okay, I guess." But I'm jumping ahead because they do find a very special character just about at
Well,
the point we were at.
go right ahead. Go ahead and cue it up because you like this special character.
Well, we have our eccentric commune leader. Was it pronounced Neller?
It was pronounced
I can't remember if the K was pronounced.
uh
Kneller? Kneller?
it's Kneller. So yeah, Kneller.
Our eccentric man.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, McCall is able to get the lights back on in the car, and thank
You
God
know,
because
I
they
was
were
gonna
gonna
say
run someone over.
played by an extremely famous person.
Who is it?
It's played by Tom Waits.
I don't know who that is.
Tom Waits is an extremely famous musician from the he's like I mean big.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Now, like anyone, like enormous. Not my type of music. I will admit that. But Tom Waits is known. Like, I mean, if you look at, like, I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now, it's fucking enormous.
Oh wow.
Enormous.
Yeah.
Like, but yes, he's very famous musician. Not my style. I think it's more blues and jazz, but it is quite fucking large. One of the more famous white musicians of that genre.
I didn't know he was in Book of Eli too.
I only saw that once, and I did not like it.
They were also Twixt is like one of the worst movies ever, and he was the narrator. Not that it's his fault. That
Yeah, I
movie
was gonna
just
say
sucked.
I
That
don't.
movie just sucked.
Come on, that's not fair to blame
Yeah.
it on him. But yeah,
I was like, have I seen this person or heard them before? And I guess I have, and a few other things. But he is found in the middle of the road. So thank God they got the lights on, because otherwise they would have like killed that guy again. And we still don't really know what that means
Mhm.
in the plot, which is a very weird. And part of the reason I'm
Well,
going to buy the book, there's a lot of unanswered stuff.
They do bring that up at one point, which I forget at one point, but I believe Eugene says to him, "What are you going to do? Off yourself again? You might end up somewhere shittier or something like that." And he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
good point."
But like, what does that mean? But that's a whole other conversation. I'm gonna get to that because we are gonna get to that scene pretty soon anyway.
Well, I think you don't. If you remember, we see somebody kill themselves later on.
Yeah, but we see them get snatched up by like the people in charge because
Well,
Neller
we'll get
is
there.
like a secret operative essentially. He's like on the
Well,
inside.
yeah, no, but I mean, Will Arnett kills himself again.
Right, right, right. But then we don't know what happens. He just gets snatched up.
Yeah, he parachutes back down.
Does he? I don't think
Mhm.
that's what happens. I think he doesn't he get taken away?
Well, he's trying to perform a ritual. Am I wrong here?
The Wikipedia says they are taken away.
Okay, so then they take
I
it away.
I don't
Okay.
remember him coming back.
Okay, well, never mind then. All
I
right, cool.
remember someone shooting into the scene to get his ass.
Yeah.
I remember that, but I don't remember anything where he comes back. But I'm jumping ahead here. We
Okay.
get to the encampment. This guy was falling. He said he fell asleep in the middle of the road looking for his dog. The dog does come back into conversation later. Essentially, he has a camp with a bunch of other people who are in purgatory as well. And what's unique is so you have to remain apathetic, but if you do, minor miracles can occur. You
Mm-hmm.
can change colors of things. You can just interact in the world a little different. And Zaya gets obsessed with it, and he can't perform any of them. And it's just like a whole thing. Like he's obsessed with that. McCall's obsessed with like the people in charge plot. And Eugene goes off on his own. He falls in love. I
Yes.
love that for him.
I love that Eugene meets this woman who does not speak Russian or English, but yet how they somehow fall in love.
I don't think she can speak at all. She just does like throat sounds and singing, right? I don't think she can actually speak.
I got the impression that she was like Native American. She is listed. Her name is listed as Nanook. Maybe
I
I'm
thought
not
she was like
sure.
Inuit, but I
Yeah,
remember
Inuit could be right there as well.
I think
Yeah,
she was like I'm gonna be honest, I think she was mute.
which might have been perfect because he speaks enough for the both of them.
Yeah, he's a bit of a yapper.
Yeah.
So we get that. We get a love story there. They are kind of finding it like McCall is eventually like, I gotta move on. I gotta go find these people. I can't stay here forever. Minor miracles, like whatever. I need to find the people in charge because I am princess of everything and I've never done anything wrong and I need to leave. And and of course he's like, of course, my queen. Absolutely. So all of that is happening. But that's when we get off on the search for Neller's dog. We get one person comes back and says they know it, and there's this guy named Messiah King. He's out here doing some funky ass rituals. Messiah King is a crazy name, by the way, to label yourself.
You think it's God King? Yeah.
And yeah, so that's a whole plot. This is where I jumped ahead a little bit. This is where the two of them bone on the shore of anaphylactic needles and or not anaphylactic hypodermic needles and fucking use condoms and all this. I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that's to symbolize. I don't know how you would not notice. It's a lot of things, but whatever.
Well, yeah, but just like it is in the other movie, though, just as soon as they finally get together, doesn't then
We find out Desiree's out there.
the man has to do something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that the ex-girlfriend is out there and she's with the Messiah King. And
Mm-hmm.
we can't get there fast enough.
Mm-hmm. Crazy after being with this other girl. But you know what? Whatever, right? Whatever. Love is love, I guess.
Yeah, but he picked the wrong one.
Oh, literally always.
Yes.
So they go to watch this ritual happen, and Zaya and Desiree finally have a conversation, and it's not what he thought. He extrapolated some information. He thought like she was so upset about him killing himself that she killed herself, which I guess in his mind would mean like they should be together.
Yeah,
Like
that he loved her or she loved him. Yeah.
yeah, they both just made mistakes and like blah blah. So clearly this character has learned nothing. But dare I say, not that Desiree is a good character, but I think she's one of the more interesting ones. She is one of the only ones that I guess I don't want to say has a reason to kill themselves, but she has like this spiritual experience and does it, and it's very interesting. It's definitely a different twist because she is sad. She was like so sad. She's like, I can't believe I hurt you like that. Like she doesn't like. It's not like this character has no remorse for like how she made Saya feel. Like she is very like, oh my god, I can't believe I've done this. I can't believe you were so sad. And then like she was in the hospital and she's just fucking sad and pathetic too. But then the reason why she kills herself is she hears Messiah's king like soul reaches out to her and then
Mhm.
she jumps off the roof of the hospital to be with him.
Yep.
And but like she doesn't even I don't know. Maybe it's romantic. She says she wants to go be with him, but like there's never any interaction between them. She doesn't say like they're in love. She doesn't tell Zaya that like they're together. She just said she wanted to kill herself to follow this guy.
I
So she
mean,
obviously gets into a cult.
maybe that's how he gets his followers. But I will say I did feel like there was a touch of like like most cults, he's probably banging his followers.
They just never give you enough information to really say. And I just thought it was interesting because we get this like, oh, like she didn't kill herself for me. She killed herself for her own reasons. Like and she is this remorseful character. So I thought it was kind of weird because the plot seems to like at that point, Zaya's like basically over it. And it's like, okay, so you're mad that like she didn't kill herself for you, like even though she's apologetic and like didn't want you to do that and was like terribly sad, and then just like made her own decision to go do something, and then like he does not give like that's their last conversation. At that point, Messiah King kills himself, gets captured by like the people in charge, and Desiree gets taken too. I don't know
Mhm.
why. I guess because she's his accomplice, even though she didn't do anything really.
She's one of his followers, maybe take all the followers.
I guess. Is it ever said what happens to them? No. Is
No.
is is Zaya even curious what happens? No. Like it's like the minute he realizes this girl that he killed himself over would not have killed herself over him, she just becomes like truly the whole motivation of this whole movie and his whole death and his entire afterlife. And they have one conversation that isn't even that bad, or at least like would prompt further questioning, and then she is kidnapped by like Big Brother type shit, and then they're like, well, anyway, glad we found that guy's dog. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, what? Like, there's such an interesting plot here. What happened? Like, I want to know what's going to happen. They've set it up earlier in the movie. What happens if you kill yourself in purgatory for killing yourself? What happens? Do we know? No. Is anyone curious? No. He does not give a fuck about Desiree at all. Like, it's so performative. It makes their whole relationship so performative and so like, it genuinely irritates me so much because I thought like the scene was gonna present her as this bitch. Like she's like, you should have never fucking did that. Like you made me feel like shit. I thought it was gonna be like she was like bad. Like I thought she was gonna be like mean. I thought she was gonna be a bitch. I thought she was gonna be hurt him or like do something. Like that's kind of like the narrative structure, like a movie that would this is a very unique story, but like this like scene where like you get back with like the person that like you wanted in the beginning, like usually they're fucking mean, like or they like reject or like you know what I mean, like even Victoria and Stardust, like we have this like she's a bitch, but like Desiree's just like nice, like she's like oh my god, like I can't believe she's like touches his face, I can't believe you did that, I'm so sorry, like I can't believe I hurt you like this, like she's genuine as fuck, and then made her own decision because she didn't know like if you kill yourself you get to be with like everyone
Yeah.
else who kills himself, so she just like does something else on a whim and has her own like brain about it for a second after being remorseful and miserable, and then that like warrants nothing from him. He just is like, well, good thing I got my other lady over here, and it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's so stupid.
I mean, at that point, it's supposed to be that he realizes that, oh, she didn't love me, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the part that kind of always bothers me about movies. Like just the stereotypical romance movies. We just had it in fucking, what's it called, in Stardust. We're having it now. It's like where it takes, no, we didn't have it in Stardust, but it's not far off. But like it happens in so many movies where like the only way they can find like, oh, the girl who was right for him the whole time is if like, which by the way, you already fucking boned her and had like a fucking like start of a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's like they have to be like like not fucked over, because in this situation he really wasn't fucked over, but like he kind of fucked himself over because he thought they were going to be
Yeah.
together. It's like he has to have his heart broken by one to realize that the other one is the real one for him. And it's like, dude, I hate
Yeah,
that
and it's
trope.
like, why? Because she, like, didn't s like, she didn't feel sad enough to kill herself? Like, it didn't seem like she didn't love him or something. It was just, like, a very weird, and then they're taken away, right? Like, they're taken away, and then McCall's like, "I have to go with them. I'll promise you I'll be back. I'm gonna talk to the people in charge." Why the fuck is he not going? Two of the women he loves are going! Like, and he's like, "Anyway, I'm gonna go take Eugene's shitty car because he's in love with that other lady, and I'm gonna drive it around." And
Yeah,
it's like, "Okay."
Eugene and his new wife, I presume, they leave. They go off. They give him the car, and so now Zaya is. Oh, and Eugene, before he leaves, is informed him. He's like, "Hey, I heard that they brought the people in charge actually went with it, and they gave McCall back her life." So he's driving around, but he finally performs his miracle.
A little star in the sky, just like hers. Oh my god, so cutesy.
It's kind of the theme of the two movies, if you would say. I mean, I'm not being. Am I
You're not
lying?
wrong, you're not wrong.
Does
There is
this
an
movie
element.
end with a fucking star in the sky? And did
I
the
mean, that's
other movie end
romantic.
with
It is romantic. I get it.
yes?
But yeah, so he
Uh,
finally is apathetic enough to do his little miracle, and it's like, wow, like, wait, oh my god, it symbolizes that we should be together.
at which point he accidentally, this is the part that kind of is, I will say, kind of bothers me. He
Mhm.
sort of accidentally just falls into being alive again
Yeah,
because
he falls into the passenger side car.
yeah, he literally is reaching for, which I have always interpreted as this. He dropped something near the black hole that is underneath the passenger seat car.
Yeah, it's Eugene's, like, mixtape or whatever.
I have always perceived it as he dropped it and then starts to reach for it and then sort of is like, what the fuck is under here? I don't know if I'm perceiving that right or if he's sucked under, but I've always perceived him being like, you know what? I've been driving around. I don't have my girl anymore. The other girl's fucking gone too. And my best friend's gone. What the fuck do I have to live for? And like, not live for, but I mean, like, there's
Yeah.
nothing left for me in this world. Maybe now, and maybe that's part of it, is maybe he truly did feel like there is nothing left for me in this world at this point. I don't know if that's intentional or not, that now he's ready to see what's on the other side of this fucking hole, which is something. He zips through the hole. It has a little trippy space scene that I'm sure if you were tripping would look fucking cool.
Mhm.
And then it's revealed that Neller, who's working for
Yeah, he's been an undercover operative the whole time for the people in
God,
charge.
I presume he's working for God. I have to assume, or the higher powers, the people in charge.
Yeah. Well, they can't
Based,
call it God because that mean God made a mistake with McCall, so can't do that.
yeah, can't do that. But
Mhm.
he's working for somebody,
Mhm.
and it's implied that he takes care of Zaya. And then when he puts his little envelope in a box, and then puts the box on a shelf. At which point, as soon as he does that, Zaya wakes up on a hospital bed, and he looks over and McCall's also on the hospital bed, awake, alive. Thoughts?
It 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 prompts some weird morality questions with Neller and well, like first of all, you're like, okay, like maybe she okay, they said yes, you can go and you can be alive. Like, sorry, LOL. Like, you didn't mean to kill yourself. Like, you didn't mean to hear. Like, oh my god. So that's like a weird element in and of itself. And then yeah, then we see him like skirt around the rules just for him, and it's like there's no one else in purgatory who like
This
also
this
could
this
live.
this kid is the most important person who ever
Yeah.
offed himself.
Like, he's in charge of that, and it's like, what's the moral decision here? What's going on? What happened to Desiree? And what happened to Messiah King? Like, what happened to everyone else? Like, literally, what is happening behind the scenes? And I will say it's cute because the entire movie, you can tell they're having a good time, but they can't smile. You can't smile when you're dead in this
Yep.
in the universe. So the first thing they do, they wake up in the hospital bed. He opens his eyes. She's there. They smile at each other. It's cute. It means they're alive. Very cute. Very fun. There's even a scene. I love the scene in the movie where they're like making themselves smile and shit, and they're being all like cutesy. Um, it's adorable. Watching them hang out. It's like watching a bunch of like goth teens hang out. You know, it's fun. It's fun that they don't smile. I love it. Um, And so that
Smiling's
moment is very
lame.
cute. That moment where they smile at each other is like just adorable. But yeah, it's just it prompts some weird morality questions and a lot of other things. And like, so they were brought back at the same time then? Because like McCall, like there's supposed to be like a time gap here.
So that's also where it comes into question, because now you have to question, is any of it real? Because that means that they had to have died at the same time in the same city, in the
Yeah.
ostensibly in the same room,
Hmm.
and then were brought back within minutes of one another.
Yeah. Because we don't even know like how long it was for someone to like discover that he died, or I guess didn't die. Like it's very,
Well,
I don't know, maybe
presumably
like bringing them back to
presumably
life puts them back
Desiree
in
found
time.
him. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But like how long? I don't remember if they talk about that.
yeah, I don't know. So like and I'll be honest, that's sort of the cop out that I don't like about this. I actually think I would, and I get, yes, you get the cutesy moment of the both looking at each other and smiling, which I think is cute. But because it sort of undoes the rest of the movie. If you really think about it, it's like, okay, that then either an absolute miracle has been performed and like they are just boom back on Earth and they're there, which I guess is possible since the movie does posit miracles are real. And there is some otherworldly force that you could just be like, boom, boom, there you go, you exist now, and the world
Hmm.
is just going to move on. Okay, that's fine. But if we're gonna go with that's not what happened, and life was just returned to their corpses, there's no way that, again, the same city, same town, same fucking room. Are you kidding me? No, then that has to mean that this was all like in their minds, but they also seem to know each other.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like very well stated in the movie. You can do minor miracles, but this is obviously a major miracle, maybe many of them. So
Well, if
what's
one of the
going on there?
people in charge are performing said miracle, that's
I
not it. The ending brings up a lot of questions.
It's cute. I will say my final thoughts. I do like this movie. It is interesting. I have the book in my cart. Like I do want to own it and read it and like see what else this world has to offer. I think that's very interesting plotline for a book. And just a story in general. I think it has an interesting plot. I think there are some very simple things that wouldn't have like cost them more money to do that would have been like a better plot. But overall, I love how it's shot. I think it's shot in a very dreamy, grainy. It fits so perfectly. I think a lot of the interactions are really fun. I think a lot of it is it's fun. It's charming. It's a movie I would like yeah, it's an underrated movie like this one. It captures it is very much a dark romantic comedy and it captures that element and it doesn't feel cheesy, which I feel like a lot of dark, that kind of thing is it's very cheesy and it's very over the top and this feels uh even though I think some of the characters' motivations are pathetic, it feels more real. Like it takes itself seriously. It does. It does. It takes itself more. It doesn't make suicide a joke, but it's also very lighthearted about it. And it walks a very fine line that I think it does it very well. And overall, I would like to own this movie, and I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5 because I thought it was unique. And like I'm a sucker for how things are shot. It was beautiful in that regard. I mean, there's a lot of good about this movie. Eugene kind of carried for me. I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
Love him. If he wasn't there, it might be a little bit lower of a score because I really like his journey with everything too and his character and how much interest there was. Um, so yeah, I think a 3.5 out of 5 is good. It is something that I would own and lovingly refer to, but it would never be on like a yearly rotation or something for me.
And that's fair. I think that's
Mhm.
about, by the way, I think I'm gonna start doing this. I privately already have typed in my score on here and I just wanted it, so I'm not typing, I'm just gonna press enter. So you know that that's what I was gonna have before you started talking. And it matches up.
Mhm.
3.5. I think three and a
Mhm.
half is fine for this. It's above average. To me, a 3.5 is above average. Three is
Yeah,
good. 3.5 is above. If I'm giving it a
I think two
letter
and a
scale,
half is average if we're going on 4 or a 5
that's fair.
scale.
Well, 2.5, that would be 50%. But yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fair. I think this is good. I do own it. I've owned it for a few years, but again, it's not one that I watch every year. I probably watch it like every 2 or 3. Yeah, I mean, I've watched probably every 2 or 3 years. There's still parts apparently that I don't remember distinctly because I still distinctly remember him killing himself. Like in my head, I'm envisioning it. I'm like, he kills himself and then he parachutes back in, but then I'm like, no, he doesn't.
They snatch his ass up, bro, and we're never told about it again, and no one in the cast has any questions.
Well, when you're
Fucking
already
take Zaya and have him go there. 2 women he loves are going there. Why is he not going there? Like,
when you're already dead, what's the difference?
I want to know. It's very interesting. They gave me 2 really interesting characters with this cult leader and Desiree, and then they're like, actually, they're captured now. And I'm like, okay, what happened to them? And they're like, actually, we don't know.
And
Okay.
that's fair. There is some things that if you really wanting to get into the nitty gritty of it, this is a more, it's not surface level because this is deeper than the most movies. This is deeper than fucking Transformers, or The Usual Suspects. If you've been following along with us, there is like some substance to this movie, but like as far as how the magic works and how the world works, you're not going to get a lot of answers, which I think I've been fine with the exception of the ending. The ending has always bothered me for that fact because I have to then question it if there is magic, and that bothers me. I can accept that there's just magic in the world and don't question it. I can accept that until you then give me an exact reason why I have to question it, and that's what bothers me. But overall, I really like it. I love the characters. A lot of the actors are just staples of that time. Patrick Fugit plays the main character, which we've never said. Was big in that era. I really enjoy it. It's one that I will continue to watch every year or so. And it is, I don't know. I love, and this is such an emo love story. And like, it's such an era that I have fondness for. And it, it definitely it makes me feel a little warm inside when I watch it.
Yeah, it is quite frankly adorable.
Mhm.
But there were some simple changes that really would have elevated this to a really cool point. So that kind of stuff aggravates me. Sometimes I get stuff, budget, this, like whatever, but there's just certain dialogue changes that could have been done, like certain small things that I don't think would have taken too much effort. So that does add a level of like irritation a little bit for me. Not that every story has to be perfect, but I'm like, what are we doing here? But it was really fun. I'm glad to have watched this. It's definitely underrated. It's definitely a gem, and it's definitely of its time, but not in a bad way. It's very very nice little time capsule, if you will.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad that we got to both watch movies that were totally new and unique to us. And I had a lot of fun with this one. This was we have done movies that are better. I still think on our list, in the Mood for Love is still the best movie we've actually done. That being said, this was probably the easiest, like went down like sugar for me, like, I mean, this was just 2 sweet movies, one of which I already knew I loved, but like these were easy watches. And for me, at least, watching the one that I had never seen before, super, super easy. Like, coming from Melancholia to this, I was like, thank God.
Oh my God.
Like, I was like, wow, these people are living life.
Yeah, no hard watches this week. It was very and that's the fun of it is that undercover that hidden gem that you uncover, and just getting to expose the other one to those. It's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I would watch Stardust again. I am curious if you do end up getting the book or a graphic novel, whichever one you said. I would be curious if you could give me a synopsis of it, maybe some of the things we missed, because I might like to know a little more about it.
I think I'm gonna go graphic novel because I want to see the pirate and drag actually pictured. So
Okay,
I think I need that.
I would like you to send me a picture of that immediately when you get it.
Of course. And I won't edit a picture of your face on it. Unless.
And I won't make it my new profile picture.
Incredible.
On my dating website. Other than that, Blue, is there anything? I know we went kind of long today, so I'm trying to let you get out of here, but
we're just 2 guys having fun talking about movies. We're all right.
Yeah.
Plus,
All
I'm
right.
off tomorrow, so
Anyway, I guess with that, then please like, rate, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, share this episode. We'll figure this episode out. It might be 2, it might be 1.
Mhm.
We're gonna
And if
find out.
anyone else wants to share their hidden
Yes.
gems and have us watch them, we will do this theme again. And it would
Yes.
be fun to go in with some like blind suggestions.
Yeah, that might actually be fun. If we can get someone, we should clip. I should clip that and put that out there. Yeah,
Mhm.
if anyone could give us some hidden gem suggestions, we might maybe we'll do 2 movies we've never heard of, or since
Mhm.
apparently we can deep dive on these motherfuckers, maybe we only need 1.
And we'll tell you if it should remain hidden.
Yes, because some of y'all don't have taste.
Real.
Any
Perfect. Let's get fan interaction by insulting them. I love this.
listen here. We need your interaction, you stupid motherfucker. No.
And also, you're pathetic if you've tried.
Yes. Yes.
This has been a hot take episode, so.
That's been good. But let us know in the comments. Like, rate, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We have been Screen Talk, and we will see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.